All right, here we go. Hello, black belts. This is lesson 2 of the Don Club, and we're going to be talking about training protocols. If you guys have a manual, this is manual pages 17 through 25. If you do not have a manual, please let me know. I'll make sure you get one. I want you to make sure you guys are getting all the information. Here we go. Respect. The biggest thing here is to be shown to everyone. Now, I know you guys know respect. I'm just running through it as a good refresher. Should be shown to higher ranks, lower ranks, and even to the parents. Respect must be shown to equipment and objects of the dojang. So that's pads, the wave pads, the jump ropes, the knife, the boards, everything. How is it shown? Well, basically we show it by bowing. We talk to each other. We stand, or how we talk and how we stand and even walk. I don't want you guys to be just standing there with your arms crossed during class and being a bum. I want you guys to be moving around. I want you to be interactive with the students. And also listening. So we're not talking when someone else is talking, unless it's like other side of the room, and two different things going on, that's going to happen. In other words, it's shown all the time, every time, all the time, during class, off the floor, and even outside of the dojang. If you see a fellow student or a friend from martial arts in like at Walmart, give them a bow. That's part of our culture when it comes to martial arts. We bow to each other and other places. And we also respect everyone around us too. If someone's like an older gentleman or lady or is walking into a store, hold the door open for them. Because why not? Be a nice person. All right, so I want you guys to read the pages of your training manual, pages 17 through 25, and there will be a protocol quiz. It is I think, 10-question quiz, so it's not too bad, but I want you guys to make sure that you're reading that and just taking good mental notes of what's to be happening for a proper protocol. All right, so here we go into the first lesson, or the second lesson, I should say here, working the class. So when it's time for class, we entering the floor. So we have to bow to the flags. You bow to your other instructors and masters, and also everyone else. Everyone gets bowed to show that respect. To start a class now, instructors are in the front and center. All other, lower ranks are in a straight line, either one or two straight lines, depending on how big the class is, with seniors to the right side. Line should be straight and lined up with the person in front of them. So it should be like a grid pattern. We haven't had big enough classes to actually do this, but if we ever do have multiple lines, you should be lined up directly behind the person in front of you. It keeps everything nice and orderly. That's why it's similar to military, martial arts. We're very similar in a way. And then the highest ranking member, besides the instructor, calls the commands. We've been doing this a little bit more in class. If you're the top dog of the class, you are to give the commands for bowing in. So we have chariot, bring them to attention. Sanchoki bare, salute the American flag. Baro, return, or put your hand down. Then muknyam, this is meditation, and you can do this either standing or seated. If you want to do it seated, you say anjo, and then we do that domino effect where the instructor sits down and then it goes down the line. And then baro, open your eyes or stand up, and then you have them bow to the instructor and the swatting black belts. So that's saying their name. Yep, I did put them on here. So the highest rank first, and then you go down in Korean numbers. So we have Kyosanim, which is a black belt instructor. So that would be a third degree that has their certification to be an instructor. So that's a Kyosanim. Sabanim is a master instructor like myself, Master Green and Master Bershnik, and also Master Lewis. So they're Sabanims. Kwanjanim, which is our grandmaster or head of organization. So that's Kwanjanim Discipio. And that's the whole list right there. So those are the special names when bowing to each other. So we have our warm-up. So a warm-up is called the class to face you and bow before getting started. Always do that. So Chariot Kinye should include, but are not limited to, stretching. So and it wants to be dynamic stretching, which is moving around, doing jogging, jumping jacks, stretch kicks, stuff like that. Calisthenics, which is, well, a big word, which is giving your heart rate up. High knees, the jogging, the jumping jacks, the the push-ups, the squats, stuff like that. So just increasing your heart rate, jogging, crunches, jumping jacks, etc. It mimics the topic of class. Like say we're doing a bunch of kicks. We probably should have our warm-up look like we're doing kicks, stretching out the legs and getting ready for those. Now during class, do whatever the instructor says, quite literally. Basically, that's how it goes. Forms. So, best to do is before you start going into forms too much, have them do the full form or at least see what they know. Have them just go. If they have no idea, then obviously start them off at the beginning and go on. And you want to see how they do over time. All right, so I'm going to call this phase 1. They know the whole form. That's awesome. They can get to phase through all of it. Now here's phase 2, which is the fix the form, which is the large issues. Are they turning the wrong way? Are they using the wrong hand? Are they doing the wrong move? So that would be phase 2. And then phase 3, this is where you black belts come in, is perfecting the form, which is the small details. Is the hand placement correct? Is it hitting the right target? And again, this varies depending on what age, rank, and level you're working with. 1 steps in self-defense, very similar to the phases, but I'll get there. Groups of 3s or 2s. So our 1 steps are in groups of 3s. So white belt would be 1, 2, 3. Then it would yellow belt 4, 5, 6. You guys were brought up this way. I was not, so it took me a little bit to get used to it. And then also self-defense is in group of 2s. So phase 1 of these would be knowing the basic idea of the main core of the 3 that they're working on. Do they know 1, 2, 3? Do they know 7, 8, 9? Whatever ones they're working on. Can they get through them? Yes. Phase 2 would be fixing the execution, the larger target. So that would be, are they hitting in the head? Are they blocking the arm right? Are they using the right hand? Stuff like that. And then phase 3, black belts again. This is where you guys are perfecting the the 1 step for self-defense. It would be the larger targets. It would be hitting precisely in the temple or hitting the wrist perfectly. So that's where you guys are at. Terminology. So this is going to go in order of level. So if you're called in front of class and you're going to do terminology, start with white belt. Do like low blocks, high blocks, punches, and then work your way up. Think about what you were working on at that level. Focus on preparation stances for the lower ranks. For like white belts, orange belts, look more at how they're preparing and hitting their stances rather than is their hand exactly in the right position. Don't worry about that. And then execution and targeting. So for the higher ranks, we start working on hitting that precise location. A lot of times when we're doing like a high punch, I will ask the student, what are you hitting? And if they don't know, it's like, well, how do you know where you're supposed to hit? So we talked about that. We're hitting in the nose. Make sure it's hitting in the nose. If they say nose and they're punching down in the chest, fix that. And working with students. Here we go. So you try to fix 2 to 3 times at a time or less if they are younger. I guess I made a comment about this in the last video. Keep things simple. Okay. Give them breaks. If they did the form 5 times, have them do some jumping jacks, do some push-ups, ask them a couple questions. What's the animal of their belt? Stuff like that. As black belts, you can teach students new things. We expect you to be able to teach a green belt Pyongan Samdan. That's the brand new form. You know, we as a black belt, you guys can teach them from scratch. And these can be broken up into groups. Like if you design a class, you don't have to have everyone doing forms, have everyone doing 1 steps, everyone doing terminology. You can break them up depending on how many instructors are there. If you want one group to do 1 steps, the next group to do terminology, and the next one to do forms, you can have them switch and revolve around there. Okay. Everyone. So at the end of class, we call everyone to attention, and we bow to your partners or instructors. And then, if you really look at the manual, it says at the end of class we were supposed to mimic the beginning. We're supposed to call everyone back to line up. We face the flags. We bow to the instructors, the masters, the black belts, and also the SWAT members. And then some schools have a little end of class thing. We have our 4 class for the STMA. Not all classes do that. Okay. All right, homework for this week. If you didn't SWAT last week, or the week before that, I should say, when you watch this, I want you guys to SWAT this week. All right, and the same thing, sign up on that calendar. Now, also, your little extra assignment for this is I want you guys to make a week curriculum, which is you choose the main topic that we do for a week. If it's forms and pad kicking, there you go. And if you're one of the one of you black belts are actually in class, we'll have you run the class. Go for it. I mean, we'll still be there. We're not gonna like leave you hanging dry and go off and do it. We'll still be there. All right. So a little bit more this week. Making a full week curriculum. I have a sign up or not a sign up sheet, but a write up of the assignment. If you have any questions, please ask. All right, guys. I'll see you in next class. Tang Su. All right, I'm supposed to add this on to the last video, guys. I'm sorry, I forgot I had this slide. This is an example of what I want you guys to do for your week curriculum. You can guys break it up by times. You don't have to. This is just, again, like an example. So obviously we want to start with a warm-up and give it, say it's 10 minutes. Now I want you guys to list the things you're going to do in that warm-up. If we're going to jog around the floor for 5 laps. We're going to do some stretches. Then I want you to list the stretches you're going to do: arm circles, hip twists, reach for the toes, etc., stuff like that. And then if you're going to do some calisthenic stuff, push-ups, crunches, how many you're going to do. Or if you want to do like a sequence, like sometimes we do a sequence of push-ups, sit-ups, or crunches, or say, and leg raises. And if you want to do that sequence a few times, put that in there. Okay. And then some type of drill, usually, which would be like the pad kicking, a circuit, wave pads, stances, something like that. We don't. It kind of depends on what we're doing each week. I'm trying to get into more of the drills of doing like working up the heart rate, getting us stronger, stuff like that. Then we have a technical section for about 15 minutes, which would be our forms or one steps, hand or foot, self-defense. Maybe it's a review class. Then we're getting ready for testing. So you guys can put that in there as well. And then some extra, sometimes usually about 5 minutes or so at the end of class, we have like a time to do some flying sidekicks, maybe a race or a game, depending on the age. And you guys can put that in there. All right. So a quick like addendum, I guess, to the last video. I'm going to put that right on the back of the last one. All right. So again, if you have any questions, please ask. All right. See you guys in the next class. Tang Su.